character, resolve, courage, and pride, just to name a few. What are we talking about? Today, my talk is entitled American Veterans, the Heroes Among Us. Now, in my introduction, it talked about a lot of things that I did while I was in the United States Army. I am by no means a hero, but let me ask you to consider those of your community, your father, your uncle, your grandfather, someone you know down the street, perhaps a teacher, someone who inspired you. Chances are that person is a veteran. What is, in fact, a veteran? Someone who has served this country in uniform for a period of time. Let's just go back a little bit and talk about Veterans Day, how we got to today or tomorrow from where we began. Each year, Americans take a day to honor brave and proud citizens that have served or are serving in one of the branches of the United States military. The U.S. holiday actually can trace its origin to a palace in France. In 1919, Treaty of Versailles. United States Department of Veterans Affairs, after that treaty, determined that the end of World War I was actually November 11th, 1918. President Woodrow Wilson declared November 11th Armistice Day. Moving forward, the reflections of Armistice Day will be filled with solemn pride at the heroism of those who died in the country's defense, principally as we began talking about World War I. Congress named November 11th as a legal holiday in 1938. While the holiday was meant to commemorate World War I veterans, it has become a broader meaning, or has adopted a broader meaning for all of the veterans of wars. Armistice Day was declared on November 11th in 1954. So we've moved from Armistice Day forward to that time. How do we describe what a veteran is? Various authors and writers have said to us, you ought to give veterans respect. And you ask yourself, how is it that someone can say you ought to give veterans respect? Let's think about some of the authors and some of the things that have been said about veterans and their service to our country. First of all, one which says, this nation will remain the land of the free only so long as it is the home of the brave, Elmer Davis. Another is, the willingness of American veterans to sacrifice for our country has served them and has earned them our lasting gratitude. That was from Jeff Miller. Another quote about veterans and their service is, the willingness with which our young people are likely to serve in any war, no matter how justified, shall be directly proportional to how they perceive the veterans of earlier wars were treated and appreciated by their nation. Think about that for a moment. If you were called to go and serve, would you not certainly think about how those who served before you have been treated by our nation? That comment was from George Washington. Another from G.K. Chesterton is this. Think about this one. This is real thought-provoking. Courage is almost a contradiction in terms. It means a strong desire to live taking the form of a readiness to die. Another by John Kennedy is, as we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by those words. Courage is contagious. When a brave man takes a stand, the spines of others are often stiffened. Think about your uncle, your grandfather, someone you know in your community, where you're from. Think about their service and what does it do to your attitude towards service to your country. Valor is stability, not the legs and arms, but the courage and the soul. One of the things that I think is appropriate is that when I went to Vietnam several years ago, I returned a proud soldier to Rome, Georgia, which is where I was born. America was not really sure what they were going to do with their veterans during that particular time. There was a lot of questions about whether we should be honored or reviled or whatever. Many times you see pictures and videos and movies about returning heroes, how they were treated, ticker tape parades, celebrations. When I returned from Vietnam, it was a very different era. Because of the things that had gone on in Vietnam and the war that we fought there, the United States was not sure about how they were going to treat us. And in many instances, they did not treat us very well. Think about what I just said. My willingness to serve was really directly proportional to how I saw veterans being treated. And then I began to look at how I was being treated as a veteran returning from war. Think about this. The sacrifices that veterans make for all of us are legend. It is the soldier, not the reporter, who has given us freedom of the press. It is the soldier, not the poet, who has given us freedom of speech. It is the soldier, not the organizer, who gave us the freedom to demonstrate. It is the soldier who salutes the flag, who serves beneath the flag, and whose coffin is draped by the flag, who allows a protester to burn the flag. This comment is by Father Dennis Edward O'Brien, United States Marine Corps chaplain. How important it is for us to recognize our heroes and sheroes. This by Maya Angelou, one of the former poet laureates of the United States. The battle, sir, is not to the strong alone. It is to the vigilant, the active, the brave. That from Patrick Henry. Honor to the soldier and sailor everywhere who bravely bears his country's cause. Honor also to the citizen who cares for his brother in the field and serves as he best can the same cause. What are your causes? Think about the motto of Darlington. And let's go back to those words that we began with. Duty, honor, service, sacrifice, selflessness, character, resolve, courage, and pride. Do these words embody or encompass any of what you're being taught here at Darlington? I suggest that they do. In doing the research about Veterans Day, I came across a lot of things that I wanted to share with you, but I realized that you would probably want to go home about 5:30 or 6 this afternoon, so I decided not to share all of them with you, but I want to share just one. Would you please let's play the video, please.
We observe Veterans Day on an anniversary, not of a great battle or of the beginning of a war, but of a day when war ended and our nation was again at peace. stood watch over America's peace. And today, every veteran can be certain the nation you served and the people you defended are grateful. Today and every day, the prayers of the American people are with those who wear our country's uniform. They serve a great cause, and they follow a great tradition handed down to them by America's veterans. Our veterans from every era are the finest of citizens. We owe them the life we know today. They command the respect of the American people, and they have our lasting gratitude. The military life is built around sacrifice and complete devotion to America. If you have lived that life, then you know the meaning of commitment to a greater cause. In so many ways, the life we live today has been shaped by our veterans. On Veterans Day, we remember the fallen, and we show our respect to those still among us, the veterans we know as our friends, neighbors, relatives, and colleagues. Not every veteran has known the full fury of battle, but most count their time in uniform among the defining experiences of their lives. The military drew out the best that was in them, instilling the highest standards of diligence, discipline, and loyalty. That is the bond joining every veteran from every branch of the service, whether drafted or enlisted, commissioned or non-commissioned. Each took an oath, lived by an oath, and stood ready to fight and die for their country. More than a generation has passed since the war ended in Vietnam. Since that time, even since the war in the Persian Gulf, the technology of warfare has become far more complex and sophisticated. Yet our most basic military asset has not changed at all. It is the character, the daring, and the resourcefulness of those who do the fighting. No matter how complicated war might be, it always comes down to the ones who fly the planes, man the ships, and carry the rifles. And our country's military has left a legacy like no other fighting force ever assembled. The uniform they wear and the flag they carry are held in esteem wherever they have served. And that is their finest tribute. Across the world, to people who struggle and suffer, the sight of an American in uniform has meant hope, relief, and deliverance. Veterans Day is set aside to remember every man and woman who has taken up arms to defend our country. We honor every soldier, sailor, airman, marine, and coast guardsman who gave some of the best years of their lives to the service of the United States and stood ready to give life itself on our behalf. 25 million veterans walk among us, and on this day, our nation thanks them all. When history looks back upon the records of our age and our nation centuries from now, I believe it will be written that once
Tomorrow is Veterans Day. And I ask that sometime today or tomorrow, you pause to reflect on what we talked about this morning. Duty, honor, country, service, and sacrifice. A final quote that I'd like to leave with you. A veteran, whether active duty, retired, National Guard, or Reserve, is someone who at one point in his life wrote a check made payable to the United States of America for an amount up to and including his or her life. I'd like to close with a portion of a passage of scripture from Isaiah. And I think about the veterans in this respect. I ask you, as you remember the veterans of our nation, to think about the words of Isaiah. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They will walk and not faint. America's veterans are the heroes among us all. Good morning.